What is up, guys? Hope everybody is having a great day. Today I wanted to talk to you about something I call the 5 powers of content. I think when people create content, whether it be videos, pictures, whatever, I think that the type of content that they create is super important. But to have 5 aspects of the powers of content in your content is really what's going to get it to resonate well. And so today I wanted to talk about those 5 powers. So the 5 powers that I believe when it comes to creating great content are the power of video. Sorry, I gotta get this. There we go. The power of photo, the power of audio, the power of brand, and the power of written word. And so these are the 5 powers that when it comes to creating content, I try to add as many aspects as I can. And I think that all content created on the internet, really in general, is based off of one of these 5 powers. Now, will you say, a lot of times you hear people say, well, how do you know what you're talking about? Unlike a lot of people in the industry, in the marketing content creation space, who just talk about content and really just try to sell you content, I've been able over the last 5 years to take the content that I've created and utilize it for other things. So recently I had a friend who started a coaching program, and from that coaching program, he'll do multiple 6 figures this year. He did multiple 6 figures last year solely off of organic content. On top of that, I've been able to get people elected into office off of organic and paid content that was used off of the basis of this. I've helped people raise money for good causes and things off of content that is based off of these 5 powers. And so I want to make sure that you understand that these 5 powers in your content are going to help you to sell more of your product, more of your service, and they're really going to help promote your brand. At the end of the day, like I've said before, assets are now a commodity, which means videos, pictures, t-shirts, whatever you sell is now a commodity. Ideas are now also a commodity due to AI, but what will separate you is execution, customization, and both of those combined equal your brand. And so we're going to break down how these 5 powers are super important, but how you may not realize that certain powers and certain types of content all really intertwine. And so video is the first one. I've always told people video. I believe everybody should be doing video. I believe video is valuable in 2025. I believe people consume a lot of information off of video. And so video is one thing that if you haven't gotten started, you can get started today. And it's a lot easier to get started today than it even was 5 years ago, with iPhone cameras, with microphones that plug into your iPhone, with stands that hold your iPhone. You can get started today. And then with editing apps like CapCut, Capwing, so many out there, you can create high quality content with a relatively low barrier to entry. And on top of that, what this allows you to do is this allows you to scale one of the sources of leverage for your business. Naval Ravikant talks about it. He says the 4 types of leverage are capital, which is money, labor, which is people, which costs money, code and software, which also costs money, but content is such a low barrier to entry, but it allows you to multiply yourself. And I think the best form of content to really resonate with your audience is video, and that's why I think video stands at the top of the list. Next, of course, we have photos. And so I believe with AI, it's getting kind of cool how we can now generate photos, but I believe photos tell a story. Sometimes I believe that saying a picture speaks 1,000 words is 100% true. And so that's why photos are important, because photos allow people to connect with who you are, what you do, things that you like, things of that nature. Audio. Now, audio is something that I think gets undervalued in the content creation space for a couple of reasons. One, when it comes to the audio quality of your video, I tell people this all the time. It's more important to have a video that doesn't look the best but has great audio versus a video that looks great and has terrible audio. And I gotta find this study, but there was a study that somebody did in the media space where they showed the same video to people, or no, sorry, they showed a video that was okay quality but great audio, and people actually thought that the video was better solely because of the audio quality. So audio is something that's super important. I think audio is a great way to be able to express yourself and tell people about your expertise without necessarily being in front of the camera if you don't want to. Okay, so the power of brand is more about who you are, how your brand looks, things of that nature, whether it be logos, colors, type fonts, all of that stuff. That all plays into perspective of the power of brand. And then last but not least, the power of written word. I think that a lot of people, due to AI, I think that this skill is underutilized. I think that it's not a skill that somebody should just believe in wholeheartedly for themselves. And what do I mean by that? I think if you think that your writing is going to be better than AI, you don't understand how powerful of a technology AI is. But if you need to communicate to the world about how you feel about something and you don't want to do anything related to them hearing your voice or seeing you, written word is a great way to get that started. And so when it comes to the five powers of content, I believe that really good content has at least 3 of them, but great content has at least 4 of them. And I want to break that down right now. So if we break down the 5 powers of content, right, let's start off with short form video, right? And I'm going to show you kind of why I've been preaching this stuff I've been preaching over the last couple of years. And I'm going to show you 3 types of content as to why they're beneficial and why they hit all these 5 powers and why that can be beneficial for your brand. So if you go on Instagram, and let's put this to the side. If you go on Instagram and you take a photo and you don't put a caption and you don't put any music behind it, right? And you just post it, right? Like, people may like the photo, but people also need to know the purpose behind the photo, the way the photo makes you feel. I think that's why Instagram has that feature where if you post photos, you can select a background song to go with the posts when people consume it. Same thing with a video. If you have a video with no audio and there's no photos, there's no brand, and there's no subtitles, and it's just a silent video of something, it's not going to convert very well. Same thing with audio. If you don't have like a graphic that goes with the audio and it's just the audio itself, I don't think people will necessarily consume it. Brand is not necessarily something you can just put on a piece of content. You brand the content that you have. And then written word, if you literally just type a caption and you just put it out there, like, it can do well, but it's not going to do well if you add multiple of these. And so I want to break down 3 types of content and adds to why I think they're a game changer for people across the board. So the first one is short form video. It does great for brand awareness. It does great for showing your expertise, and it does great for displaying who you are, right? So the power of video is taken care of, well, because it's short form video, and that's clear. One of the things that I think a lot of people do that's pretty cool is, like, if they're talking about their past, they'll go and they'll show a picture of their childhood in the photo. So photos are great. If they're talking about something and you have photos pop up in the video, there's a benefit there too. If you have articles you've read and you screenshot those articles, that's the power of photo. As far as audio, I'm actually going to put 2 checks here, because there's 2 things. One, if you get mic'd up right and it sounds clean and it sounds crisp and it sounds clear, that's one power of content there. But the second one is the music. If you find right music and you're saying something philosophical and you use heavy and preponderous music, right, and you have the music that matches the video, you can win there too, right? The next one is with brand. A lot of times the short form video is of you speaking, right? So you're the brand, right? You are your brand. We talk about personal brand all the time. And so you get that power there too. And then on top of that, if you add an outro with a customized logo, that's a way for you to do that as well. And then last but not least, written word. This is also, give this a 2x, right? Because you have the subtitles on the video, which a lot of people don't know that 85% of videos on social media get watched on mute. So these subtitles help, but then also the copy in the post allows people to dig deeper into what you said into the short form video. So altogether, ironically enough, if we have 5 powers of content, this one gets 7 total points because it gets 2 of them twice. Next thing, let's look at long form video. Again, it's video, so that's 100% true. Photos, again, you can reference if you are talking about something, so that allows people to learn about that. Audio, I'm going to give it 1 check mark here because you probably are usually mic'd up, but you usually don't have like music running in a 5 to 10 minute long video. Brand, again, it's you speaking. It's your logo in the bottom right-hand corner, so 100% there. And then written word. This one, I'm going to give it a half because of the fact that you're probably not going to put subtitles on a 5 to 10 minute video, but you could utilize the long form description, video description, in order to be able to like get people to learn more about the content, and you can send them to different links and things of that nature. So out of a scale of 1 to 10, that gets a 4.5. At a scale of 1 to 5, that gets a 4.5. So that's 90% utilizing all the powers of content. And then one that I keep talking about is podcast, right? So let me show you something. In the past, podcasts would have audio, right? And there wouldn't be photos or videos. And then there would be brand because it was the person, but then all it was an audio file. So then you necessarily wouldn't have subtitles there either, okay? So before, this would have a 2.5, which would make it okay, right? I think that's the reason why you're seeing like podcasts are cool now, but they weren't cool before, right? But I think that there's two things that happen now in podcasts that have changed the game. For starters, I think people video their podcasts, and because they video their podcasts, they are able to do a couple things. One, they can post a full podcast, and then they can chop it up into long form and short form videos that go on the channels. So utilizing the power of video has now increased the value of podcasting content. The second one is photos, right? So Joe Rogan does a really good job of this, and you see a lot more podcasts starting to do this, where when they refer to like somebody's outfit, or they refer to a video, or they refer to an article, they literally bring the article up on the page. I think that there's a benefit for that for two reasons. One, you utilize the power of photo, and you utilize the power of written word, but also what it allows you to do is it allows them to change angles of them just looking at the person the entire time. So I think that that's very powerful for podcasts. And then with that being said, the written word only got a half a point. I'm going to give it a full point here, because what happens now in a lot of podcasts, which is pretty cool, is people reference, like I said, articles and things of that nature. So you get the power of written word in there too, which also gives you a 5. So I say all of that to say that these 5 powers are what take your content from being good to great. Having 3 of them gives you good content. Having all 5 gives you great content. So next time you create content for your brand or organization, ask yourself, which one of these 5 am I applying? And then ask yourself, am I applying more than just one? And then ask myself, am I applying 4 to 5? And if not, how can I do that? So for example, if I'm posting photos on Instagram, instead of just posting photos, that's just 1. Add some good audio through Instagram. That's 2. Make sure the thing is branded with a call to action or a logo. That's 3. Add some good copy to it as well. That's 4, right? We're not going to worry about video at this time. If you're going to do an audio segment, make sure that you have a cool photo, right? That allows people to like understand what the audio is, whether it's your podcast cover, a photo of you, whatever. You can add a video aspect where you add the waveform, and you can get the waveform to move. Make sure it's branded, and then have a great caption, right? So this right here allows you, when you understand these 5, it allows you to then take the next step and say, how can I add more powers of content to the content I'm already creating? That way I can take it from good to great. So I wanted to show you this. That way you understand that there's a way to make good content, and there's a way to make great content. And great content is made by utilizing these 5 powers. Have a great day, and God bless.